Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
It's driven by inner politics and also pressure from the public.
Tonight at 5, we have reaction as the University of Oklahoma looks for a new president, less than a year after Jim Gallogly officially took office.
Yeah, the former energy industry CEO announced his retirement in a statement last night saying, quote, "I have advised our Board of Regents of my plans to retire once they have a transition plan in place." Gallogly was brought in to tighten the university's finances and soon found OU embroiled in a sexual misconduct investigation against the former president, David Boren.
We have team coverage tonight as the university works to move forward and also select a new president. But first, we need to start with a check of our weather.
Absolutely. Have a couple of severe storms out there right now, tracking apart across the northwest, and David, they're kind of headed our way.
Yeah, they're slowly heading our way, not very fast. And right now the jet stream is fairly weak, so they're not going to make a big crashing movement to the southeast. But here they are, a couple of severe storms up here, Valcaster, Marty Logan, keeping an eye on these, and then a few off to our east. But these really aren't the only severe storms we have now. And the one near Vici, it's still hanging on, but it's weakened some. The strongest storm is just on Winoka, down 283 or 183, excuse me, down towards Bouse Junction. It's moving kind of weird here. It was moving more east-southeast, more easterly, and now it's just kind of crawling east as it begins to weaken, and it's going to begin to weaken, and it looks like weaken quite a bit more right over Winoka. Heavy rain, nickel and dime size hail with that one. Back to the southwest, that storm's been severe. It's still hanging on now west-northwest of Vici. It's crawling off to the east-southeast as well. So these are not moving very quickly. Heavy rain, nickel, dime size hail. That storm was producing some golf ball size hail about 45 minutes ago. Now it's producing quarter size hail. South sides of Winoka, between there and Bouse Junction off to your south. We've had some weak, what we call wind shear in there, but nothing out of control, nothing tornadic. In Oklahoma City, it's been dry. I think we stayed dry, but off to our east, showers and thunderstorms over near Bristow, down towards Cromwell, Wetumpka, down near, again, and just to the west of Cromwell. These are sliding southeast as well. Also over Sparks, small hail and gusty winds with those, but nothing, again, too crazy with that. 9-day forecast, guess what? Severe weather, it's going to come back. We're talking about the strong jet stream, the threat for wind, hail, and tornadoes. It will return. Forecast coming up. Guys, back to you.
Okay, David, the University of Oklahoma is searching for a new president tonight. This after the announcement of Jim Gallogly's retirement. News
9's Kaylee Bourgeois kicks off our team coverage from Norman with more on the transition process. Kaylee?
Many details have yet to be released about that transition process to new university leadership, but already there are some guidelines in place when it comes to choosing a new president. According to the University of Oklahoma Board of Regents handbook, the regents will form a committee to choose the next president. The guidelines say, quote, "It is recommended that the presidential search committees shall have representation by faculty, students, and staff, and faculty members shall constitute a majority of the search committee members." During the last selection process, which resulted in Jim Gallogly as president, outside firm Storbeck Pimentel Associates was used.
The 14th president of the University of Oklahoma, James Lawrence Gallogly.
That process came under fire by hundreds of people who signed an open letter demanding transparency. We reached out to the firm today to find out if Gallogly's exit changes the terms of the contract with the university or if the firm will be used in selecting the next president. A spokesperson said the firm has no comment. As for an exact date for Gallogly's retirement, he hasn't given one. In a statement released last night, the university president said in part, quote, "I have advised our Board of Regents of my plans to retire once they have a transition plan in place." News 9 reached out to university officials for more details on what that transition plan might look like, but we did not hear back today. We also reached out to every regent on OU's board for comment. They deferred us to their chairman, and her statement released last night in reaction to Gallogly's retirement announcement. And in his statement last night, Gallogly said that he'll continue his work in the meantime, mostly working on that 2020 budget. And he says that he will not be serving on the misconduct investigations moving forward. I'm live in Norman. Kaylee Bourgeois, Oklahoma's own News 9.
All right, Kaylee, good work down there. Today we are hearing reaction to Gallogly's resignation. Sarah Banna, who's been working as an advocate for the alleged victims at the center of the Bourne investigation, says this was the right move. However, in a statement, Banna goes on to say, quote, "We remain concerned that the Regents are yet unresolved to do the right thing and turn over all evidence to law enforcement regarding misconduct by David Bourne and Trip Hall during their tenure." And
one of the alleged victims at the center of that investigation is also sharing his thoughts on Gallogly leaving OU. Jess Eddy spoke with her Grant Herms about this surprise announcement and why he thinks Gallogly left. It's an interview you'll only see on News 9.
I was shocked. My experience with powerful people of wealth and affluence that they dig their heels in generally.
In the hours after hearing OU President Jim Gallogly would be stepping down, one of the university's most vocal critics and accuser of David Bourne, Jess Eddy, saying he was surprised to learn his alma mater's newly hired president was already on his way out. At the heart of his concerns, will Regents release the findings of the investigation into Bourne?
I know that there are individuals who are still employed at the university, the general counsel, Title IX officer, who were present and in those positions when Bourne was president, who are still there. And I know that those individuals who are very powerful have a strong interest in this report staying confidential.
Gallogly's resignation also comes amid reports of infighting among Regents over the investigation, which Eddy thinks is being hidden.
I think that Gallogly wanted to see the Jones Day report made public, and I do think he wanted to see David Bourne held accountable for his actions, but I don't think that that was necessarily the interest of the Board of Regents as a whole.
Gallogly's short time as president has been marked by controversy and rivalry with David Bourne, including reports Gallogly threatened to, quote, destroy his predecessor. In his resignation statement, Gallogly says those reports were a false narrative, and the suggestion that there was ever any ill will in prior factual disclosures was ridiculous. But accusers and critics have already turned their sights on OU after Gallogly, calling on university officials to be more transparent in their search for another new president.
The Regents really have to conduct a transparent search that involves all members of the university community to select a qualified candidate with experience in higher education administration.
There's no clear successor for Gallogly yet. In his statement, he said he would not be a part of any appeal process that may come later. Grant Herms, Oklahoma's own News 9.
And our team coverage of Gallogly's retirement continues this evening. We talked to the OU professor who famously called for the president's resignation months ago. Hear from Suzette Grelot tonight at 6.
All right, shifting gears now. A mother of 5 is gunned down in her Metro apartment just before Mother's Day. 3 people are now behind bars in connection with the deadly shooting and home invasion. News 9 crime tracker Jennifer Pierce has the very latest on the victim from the victim's family. JP?
Well, Cali police arrested 2 suspects over the weekend. The alleged gunman was arrested last week, the day after Brandy Alden died. Her family now believes her death could have been prevented. Instead of celebrating Mother's Day with her 5 children and relatives, 38-year-old Brandy Alden's family is grieving her sudden death. Alden was inside her apartment last Thursday night when she heard a knock at the door.
She had a friend to answer the door, and she was asking, "Who is it?" And he's saying, "I can't hear because of the noise in the apartment." And she said, "Just open the door."
On the other side of the door was the alleged gunman, Dylan Schwenk, also Tiffany Graves and Dustin Turner. Police say several shots were fired during an altercation. Alden was hit in the chest and arms. The mother of 5 later died at the hospital.
Like, my heart is in shambles because no matter what she done, good, bad, ugly, she loved her kids. I know that was the last thing on her mind was her children.
Charles says her sister-in-law knew Schwenk and that he forced his way into her apartment. She was upset to learn the homicide suspect was recently released from the Woods County Jail without posting bond. Court documents confirm Schwenk was released on personal recognizance for 2 felony cases only 7 days before Alden's death.
Had they kept him there, my sister-in-law would still be breathing today. We would have had her yesterday for Mother's Day.
And she says to make matters worse, Alden's family in Montana is having her body transferred there, 1,500 miles from her children in Ada. Reporting live at the Oklahoma County Jail, Jennifer Pierce, Oklahoma's own News 9.
And still tracking strong to severe storms from the Bob Mills Weather Center right now in northwestern Oklahoma. These storms are still stout, moving off to the east-southeast, not very fast. We'll watch those carefully down the road. Get ready for a lot of storms. Talking about severe weather. It's an active 9-day. It's May. Your forecast coming up.
Definitely want to hear that. Also still to come, we'll introduce you to our fourth and final Service for Service winner and his organization that helps troops overseas.
And coming up next, 2 Oklahoma City schools that are set to close next year have new purpose. How the Oklahoma City County Health Department is planning to serve the community.
This is Oklahoma's own News 9.
The Oklahoma City County Health Department just announced its plans to take over 2 schools that are closing.
The agency will be leasing Oak Ridge and Sequoia Elementary Schools. It's through the Pathway to Greatness plan. News 9's Jesse Mitchell shows us how education will still be a core purpose there.
Sequoia Elementary is just one of the closing schools that underwent millions of dollars in renovation through Maps for Kids, but the City County Health Department is ensuring that work doesn't go to waste. Both Sequoia on Northwest 36th Street and Oak Ridge on Leonhardt Drive will soon become wellness and learning academies. The idea is just one of the health department's recent efforts to further nurture the physical and mental health of communities that need it most.
We're not only that place where folks can come to receive healthcare services, but we also want to make sure that we're providing services that help folks learn how to live a healthier life.
The Maps for Kids project brought new playground equipment and updated classrooms to each of the buildings less than 10 years ago. Kids will remain a target population for the Wellness and Learning Academies with after-school programming, but this time, so will their parents.
Perhaps while they're being tutored, maybe their family is in a different room having programming such as literacy classes or financial literacy classes.
The full functions of these sites still aren't set in stone because the health department is looking for community input to tailor their offerings.
We want them to be a part of planning what these sites look like, and so we don't want to just come in and assume that we know what that neighborhood needs.
The Wellness and Learning Academies will be around for at least a decade through a negotiated lease with the school district, so now is your chance to have a say. The City County Health Department is hosting a town hall meeting at Oak Ridge on Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. and at Sequoia on Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. In Northwest Oklahoma City, Jesse Mitchell, Oklahoma's own News 9.
You know, it's not often that a guy with a 3.5 grade point average gets invited to speak at commencement, and he didn't this year either. Burns boldly went out of the box and picked the guy with a 2.5 grade point average.
You got cheers on that one, Kelly.
Yeah. A lot of brothers and sisters out there with 2.5s.
And they look at you now as a role model, familiar face right there on the stage at OSU's commencement ceremony. Of course, our very own Kelly Ogle. He gave such a good speech. It was comical. The students loved it. It happened on Saturday evening.
Yeah, it was a blast to do. It really was.
Yeah, it looks like you had a lot of fun.
Gave him a couple of career tips and working with people like you guys.
Yeah, and how much fun it is.
Yeah, and how much fun it is.
Amanda and I are sitting right next to you right now. Do you see that?
His speech was fantastic. It's so good.
And, Burns wanted to start low, and then from there.
He's building up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For the next. I know what you're saying.
Kelly did great.
That's really
you can imagine.
It was great. It was a great honor, and I had so much fun doing it.
We're proud of you.
Yeah, yes, we are. It's good stuff.
Yeah. You didn't think I had it in me, did you?
No, I did.
Neither did they.
It was really good.
It went smooth.
Yeah, it did. A couple storms in the northwest right now. They're kind of going up and down. Nothing too crazy.
Is any of that going to make it to the metro?
You know what? Probably not. Okay. Honestly, it's sliding east-southeast, but the jet stream not very strong, but just strong enough. Just strong enough to get these storms to go up. Marty Logan is up there. That's his shot on the lower right. Val Castor is closing in on another storm to the south and east. Let's go to Val and Amy. And Val has about 30 cameras in his cars, and he can flip around camera, this, that, and the other. Let's go to Val and Amy and get an update on those storms. Go ahead, Val.
Yeah, David, right now we just came through Kingfisher. We're headed north, and we've got our eyes actually on a storm that's out to the west. that just went up east of Ceiling that's getting stronger. You can't really see it too good in the shot there, but that's what we're targeting right now. Looks like to me it's starting to increase a little, David.
Yeah, and, Val, still a ways away from it there, but it's going to hang on a little while longer, so him and Amy are going to keep moving off to the west-northwest. But we're ready for storms here this evening, obviously. These aren't going to be too crazy, obviously. And then down the road, though, we are ready for what's coming our way at the end of the week. More on that coming up. Right now, though, thunderstorms there in the northwest. They've gone up. They've weakened just a little bit here. At least one of those has. And then we have the other cluster of storms off into eastern Oklahoma. Those developed in the East Metro several hours ago. Okay, so the thunderstorm near Winoka, it continues to kind of break apart now. It's beginning to gust out. A little bit of lightning north of Laverne. That one severe storm is still left now coming into Visay right now, going right down Highway 60, and then other severe storms that are weakening just west of Winoka. That storm is still severe now, and it's going right into Winoka, moving from west to east. Going to have some nickel and dime size hail with that, quite a bit of lightning and thunder. And then that storm down here at Visay, small hail, gusty winds, each storm 50 to 60 mile per hour on the winds. But we're not talking about tornadoes. So the storm up north, again, moving off to the east. Cleo Springs, 629, Ringwood, 709, if it hangs together that long. And the storm to the south, a little stronger, Taloga at about 636. It'll probably get, well, it's going to go right over Visay, and then from there it's going to kind of move east-southeast. All right, so a little bit of hail in the northwest, nickel, dime. From time to time, that Winoka storm producing some quarter-size hail, and we're looking for anything spinning up here. And no, the atmosphere just not there today, okay? But that will be changing down the road. Thunderstorms east of Oklahoma City, running from up near Stillwater, a few showers there. And notice how these storms, so they kind of go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. Everything sliding to the southeast, small hail, gusty winds with any one of these storms. And again, one of these could be marginally severe. You might get a quarter-size hailstone out of that. You folks in Meeker, thunderstorm just to your north and east. 80 degrees in Oklahoma City, a southwest wind at 14. Our humidity at 47%. Little boundary that's running from Woodward down to and just north of the metro. That's why we're getting these thunderstorms again up near that boundary. That's why they're developing where they are. Warm behind the front, out ahead of it, it's moist and warm, and that's the boundary that's firing those showers and storms up. Okay, our next storm system in the Pacific, a long ways away. There's Alaska. The first threat of severe weather will come in on Friday into western Oklahoma, and then severe storms, really the chance will be in there for all of us as we get into Saturday, and the threats are going to be wind, hail, and the threat for tornadoes will be there. So here's the setup on Friday. Thunderstorms again on the dry line coming into western Oklahoma late Friday afternoon, Friday evening, primarily in the west, and then as we get into Friday night and Saturday, we'll bring that area farther east, and we'll have more than likely 2 days of severe weather. Again, western Oklahoma, Friday evening, and then for the rest of us, Friday night, overnight, and into Saturday. All right, this evening, slight chance for a shower thunderstorm in the green. Obviously, a few more in the northwest. And again, a few in the northwest, one or two could be strong, could be severe. Eastern Oklahoma, these aren't doing too much. These should weaken here as the next several hours move along. Overnight tonight, Oklahoma City north and northeast. Slight chance for a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. Lows tonight in the 50s. And then highs tomorrow in the 80s, warm tomorrow, slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm in the northwest. And Wednesday's highs, again, more 80s coming back. Okay, so most of the week looks pretty quiet for Oklahoma City on Friday. 10% chance for a shower or thunderstorm. It's western Oklahoma severe, and then Friday night into Saturday, it's for the rest of us. That includes the metro on Saturday, a high of 73. We'll dry it out on Sunday. More severe weather from Monday, possibly into Tuesday of next week. We'll be back right after this.
A university in turmoil. Now the president steps down after less than a year.
It's been damaging to the University of Oklahoma.
Why critics want a change to the hiring process. Tonight at 6.
Congratulations to Ray Stark of Edmond, our latest Service for Service winner from Bob Moore Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Ray is a 10-year veteran of the U.S. Navy. He and his wife Karen also started the Hugs Project 15 years ago. That project sends out care packages to our troops overseas and also helps fund treatment for veterans battling PTSD and traumatic brain injuries as well.
Oh, Ray, thank you for your service.
Yes.
We appreciate it so much.
We sure do. And David?
Storms northwest, crawling southeast, trackers are on it.